Got it.
All right. Awesome. So, yeah, Patrick, you can start us off.
Perfect. Well, good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. We really appreciate it. This will be an exciting opportunity for us to learn from each other and also grow together. For those that don't know me, my name is Patrick Njoku. I'm a realtor with iPro Realty. And let me use this opportunity to introduce the amazing Stephanie Lowe. And go ahead, Stephanie. And Max Stewart.
Hey
So thank
guys.
hey,
Hi, everybody.
so thank you for coming out. Why are we here? I guess the obvious answer would be to learn more about pre-construction and also to check out some of the amazing projects we have today. But the reason why we're here is because we want to learn how to invest before the masses. We want to learn to find how to find opportunities others miss and how to use pre-construction as a tool to secure our future at a discount. But also, most importantly, to learn how to invest in fast appreciating areas. So a question I generally get asked is, "Hey Patrick, the market's down. It's been down since March. We're beginning to see it rise again, but also interest rates are at an all-time high." And I say, yes, that's true. Interest rates are all-time high. The market's down. But if you're an investor, a stock investor, a crypto investor, an investor of any sort, what do you do in a bear market when the market's down? You take position, and you take position so that when we get into a bull market, when the market's strong again, you've planted those seeds, right? So that you can rise above and you don't have to FOMO in. FOMO is the fear of missing out. When everybody starts to FOMO in, you're already settled in, right? And you can rise to the top, right? And profit. So we have a lot of exciting stuff on our agenda today. So kick back, relax, chill, just and interact with us. And I'll hand it over to Stephanie.
Thanks, Patrick. All right. So, yes, thank you again for everybody for joining us and being here. My name is Stephanie, and I am an award-winning realtor with Manor Hill Realty. I wrote a book called The Wealthy Home Sellers, and that book is just in place to help people really understand how to win at real estate. I love to help people understand how to develop and build a real estate portfolio. So I feel like education is a really, really, really big piece of that. So, doing webinars like these, and we did in-person meet and greet a couple of weeks ago. I just think that these opportunities are really special and really necessary to help folks even understand what things are available to them, and just kind of open people's eyes and help them expand their horizon. As I help folks in the real estate market in terms of buying and selling, we're always trying to do this with an investor's mindset, and you're going to hear a lot of really great tips today. So definitely make sure you guys are tuned in and paying attention to that. We want to think about the areas that we're buying in, because this purchase is an investment, and we want to think about how it can provide a return for us in the long term, and add towards generational wealth, add towards financial freedom. This webinar, we're going to be talking to you guys about pre-construction. Super passionate about it. I've seen so many people just change their lives, open doors through real estate, make money they didn't think that they would. It's just really incredible. So I'm very passionate about pre-construction, and really excited to all of us are really excited to share this information and tips and tricks and do's and don'ts. So make sure you guys hang out all the way through to the end. I am really focused on having abundance, and part of that is not just, I say, not just in your bank account. It's in your mind, it's in your body, it's in your bank account. An abundance of health, having the right mindset, letting go of some of our fears and things that kind of hold us back from achieving success in some of these areas. And as we work on all these different pillars of ourselves, we're able to just have a really abundant, happy, fulfilling life. So that's what I'm all about. and I will let Patrick introduce himself.
I'm Patrick Njoku. As I mentioned earlier, I'm a realtor with iPro Realty in Mississauga. I'm just passionate about people living above the status quo. I find that too many times, many people out there are faced with life's financial challenges and have no ideas how they can rise above. So I like to use real estate as a tool, right, to help my clients explore options and with the end result in their financial freedom. I'm also an engineer, and so I'm very structured. So I like to use this skill set to help my clients connect all the dots. And just on a personal level, I'm spiritual, not religious, and I'm also very passionate about my son. He's 16 years old now. I've watched him grow from a baby to a boy, and he's growing into a man, and I'm very, very, very proud of him. And so that's more about me at a high level.
Great. And Max.
Hey everybody, so a little bit about me. I'm a realtor and used to be primarily in the KW area, but I've expanded a bit more and I'm in the GT area as well. I've been licensed for about 12 years or so, and I'm very passionate about helping people, creating generational wealth. So that's like one of the most important things to me. I just see how much value there is in real estate to create that generational wealth. You're always going to be working, but how can you pass that down? We're going to talk a little bit more about that in the webinar. And it's just a really fun time to be in real estate. So I'm just going to let you guys go on a little bit more. Enough about me.
All right. So this fantastic webinar is brought to you by Patrick here with Invest 416. And again, Patrick is with iPro. And Max and I are a real estate team. We are the Stewart Lowe Realty Group. And yeah, just very passionate about helping folks build generational wealth. We have a lot of great industry experts on the call with us today. So thank you so much for being here. And I'll probably invite someone to pop on and say something towards the end. I have a slide with some mortgage tips in there. So we just appreciate having your expertise and knowledge and commitment that you have for all of your clients. So thank you so much for being here with us today. There's going to be a lot of really fabulous information that we're sharing with you guys today. All right. So I definitely encourage you to have a pen and a paper so you can jot down some of the questions that you might have. Maybe as we're sharing some tips about or some information about some of the projects, there's a particular unit that you have interest in. So definitely make sure you guys are jotting these things down. I always invite everybody to utilize the chat as well. We will try our best to save most of the questions towards the end, just so we don't kind of get distracted or caught up during the call. But please do feel free to post your questions in there. And I am going to invite you guys to pop in the chat right now very quickly if you don't mind, and just write down what it is, just maybe one thing that you really hope to get out of the webinar and your time with us today. Whether that be learning about assignment strategies, or you're ready to invest and you're looking for a really great opportunity. Maybe you don't know anything about pre-construction whatsoever. You're curious. You just wanted to kind of join the call. So please, just go ahead, hop in the chat there, and just write down one thing that you really hope to get out of our webinar today. Thank you so much. Oh, and also Patrick, myself, and Max will make sure that we put our email address in there as well, so you guys can note that, and feel free to contact any of us about any of the projects that we share today. No one is like exclusive to any project. We're all here working as a team to support you guys, and whoever you kind of connect with most, that's fine. We're here to support you. Okay. So, Max, I hope this is okay and not in your way. If you could, give us.
Yeah. So, like I said, it's an exciting time to be in real estate. And I just want to just, ask you guys, don't answer now. Something just came up in front of the slide.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
My fault. Jody wants to learn about assignment strategies.
awesome. Maybe if you pull that box over to the corner and when it comes up again, you'll be fine.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, what's your big why? So don't answer now, but ask yourself, what's your big why? Why are you motivated? Why are you passionate about, being here today on this call, on this webinar? What gets you up in the morning? What motivates you? What's driving you to invest? I know why I'm in real estate, and I know Patrick and Steph know why they're in real estate as well. Patrick mentioned how passionate he is about his kids, and it could be anything for anybody. And how many income streams do you have? Are you working for your money, or is your money working for you? I prefer to have my money working for me, because if you're working for your money, you're working for somebody else. Everybody's talking about that rat race, getting caught up in that 9 to 5. The goal is to have at least 7 streams of income. Do you have any sources of passive income? What does that look like? Cash flow is king. Equity buildup is after that. So what's bringing you passive cash flow? What types of investments do you have that can do that for you? Real estate is one of the best investments I know to have passive cash flow. It's one of the only investments that you put money into and then somebody else pays it for you. So it's not like you're putting $200 every month or $50 every month or every week or however you set up your saving strategy into like a stocks or bonds or whatever. Not that they can't do well, including, but when you have real estate, somebody else pays for it for you. Stuff, check the other ones out, or is it the full one line?
That's yours.
Okay. So what have you put in place for your future generations to create generational wealth? Again, what are you passing down? Are you passing down debt, which you can do? Sometimes, you can pass on debt, but you can pass on generational wealth. I rather pass on generational wealth. So putting these things in place from today gives you that opportunity to pass on that generational wealth. So not only you have that generational wealth, your kids have that generational wealth as well, that they can build off of, and then, their kids and their kids and their kids can have that generational wealth as well. And generational wealth doesn't always go down. Sometimes generational goes up. That's another mindset shift that you can kind of think about as well. So do you have a money mindset? Are you thinking of, money in the right way? Do you have a negative money mindset, or do you have a positive money mindset? Some people have a negative, money mindset in terms of, money's evil, money's bad, money's dirty, or whatever. And, some people have financial literacy and understand that money's only good for, the good it can do. So do you have a good positive money mindset? What is your idea of financial freedom? What does that look like? Ties into your kind of like your big why. If you had to, go out today and do whatever you want, and there was no cost or money attached to it, and you could just afford to do whatever, what does that look like? What does financial freedom look like to you if you had no bills right now?
All right. Thank you, Max. Okay, so looking at real estate as a wealth building vehicle for creating financial freedom. Something I really encourage people to do is something, as like Max mentioned, is to really be clear on your vision and be clear on what you want and understand your why before you get into investing, because there are a lot of opportunities that are available out there for you. And it can feel a little overwhelming at times. And I find if you understand that, at this phase, I have 40K to work with, or I have 30K to work with. My goal right now is to build up my pot of money, because I want to get into my first home or whatever it may be. So that will help you look at maybe something like an assignment strategy as a way to really build a lot of money without having too much at the beginning. You don't have to qualify for a mortgage, these sort of things. Maybe your goal is to create cash flow, something like Max talked about. So when you're looking at and assessing which projects or which opportunities are best for you, well, if you run through the math and it looks like you're falling short a little bit every month, well, you know that that's not going to meet your goal. If you're looking at expanding a portfolio, looking at creating generational wealth, so, planning for retirement or making sure you have access to funds for your kids to go to school, or these kind of things, then you want to maybe look at buying and holding strategies and just building longer and longer over time. So these are things that can help you even determine what kind of property is going to be the right property for you to invest in. So always connecting with your why and understanding where you are in the grand scheme of your overall plan and purpose. So there are many different strategies you can use to build wealth, and I kind of touched on a few of those. So that buying and holding strategy is really looking strategically at building a portfolio, diversifying, maybe buying different types of properties, so townhomes, detached, condos, having a mix, and then diversifying in different areas. So today we're going to talk about 3 different really cool areas that have a lot of really dynamic and beneficial aspects and factors to them that are going to help you to build, that wealth. So buying and holding is just building. You're not really selling too much. You're really just trying to accumulate as much as you can over time. Assignment strategy, we're going to talk about that today. Patrick's going to share some do's and don'ts as well. But essentially with your assignment strategy, what you're doing is you are locking in a particular property at today's value. So the numbers that we're going to be sharing with you today, if you were to purchase one of these, you'd be locking in at today's price. What you would do from there is you pay the builder his deposit, and now you own the rights to the property. Okay, your closing may be in a 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, whatever it may be, and just over that time your property value is going to flow and move with the market. But generally real estate increases over time, and you're going to notice that you're starting to build equity in that property. So today's value, and then you're looking at tomorrow's value, right? As you get closer towards your closing date, what you do is you are essentially selling the rights to that property. So a buyer will come and buy the property or buy the paper from you at that future value. Okay, and your difference, and Patrick is going to share some awesome detailed examples with you later. One of the areas I'm going to present to you guys as well, just a sample, is someone bought a townhouse in this area 1 year ago at $550. Today, the market value is $650. So if he sold that home, he would have made $100,000 minus your expenses in 1 year, and he didn't have to close it. He didn't have to get a mortgage. You just got to be strategic on how you work the market on this. So that's essentially how an assignment works. There's usually fees associated with it. Sometimes the builder will offer something like free assignment. Sometimes the builder wants you to pay $8,000 or $7,000 or something like that. And there's usually some particular and specific restrictions and rules that a builder might have around the assignment as well. So you want to be very aware of that, and also having the assignment clause, as Patrick's going to get into. So buying in up and coming neighborhoods is also very, very key, especially as we're trying to use real estate for building wealth. So again, you're going to hear a lot of awesome points and factors about the communities that we're buying into. Newly developing areas where there's awesome business happening, there's new transportation, they're extending the highway, or bringing in a GO train station, or a new Amazon facility is coming, something that's attracting a lot of interest, activity, money, and people. It's going to help to build value for you in the real estate that you're investing in. So it's really, really key. And I really like to talk about this point, is not to follow the trends. When we talk about the crystal ball effect, it's not to follow the trends and buy in an area 3 or 4 or 5 years after everybody already did. You've missed your opportunity in a large way to really make money with the real estate. You want to tap in with your industry experts, people who are specializing in pre-construction and investing, and really strong financial advisors and mortgage brokers who are really on point with this stuff. And the team is going to help to advise you on, what's a really great fit for you. And you want to be ahead of the trends so that your property is the one that's gaining 100K in 1 year or 2 years or whatever it may be, right? So that crystal ball effect is just looking for these key little factors in a project and in a city. And when we get excited about something, because we've seen it so many times, we really do know what to look for. When we're excited about something, you guys get excited, okay? Because we see honestly so many different projects pass by me every single day, and tons and tons and tons of projects. But when I see some of these really key strategies, I'm like, all right, this is a really great one. This is an awesome opportunity. All right. Investing in real estate that you can rent. When I talked about buying and selling real estate with an investment or an investor's mindset or outlook, this is really what it is. You might be buying the home with the intention, this is I'm a first time home buyer. Someone asked, is pre-construction something that's only for investment? No. No, the home that I live in was a pre-construction property. I saw all the reasons of why this is really smart for me to invest in this property. I live in it. I love where I live. I love my home. But I know that maybe I'm not going to be here forever. So I said, okay, what cute little things about this house are going to help me to rent it? How am I going to be able to chop it up and, do the house hacking and get rental income while I'm here, and all these little things that you just try to look for. So, and also being able to rent your property is going to help you to ride the waves of the market. So if there's a time, which we kind of are going through or had just previously went through, when the market value dips a little bit, you're renting. So you're making your way through those little dips in the market. And over time, again, things increase and you want to be able to capitalize on that. So equity builds long-term wealth. Okay. That's just the thing. You have your property 5 years, 10 years, if you guys think about maybe some smaller towns that you knew, like a Cambridge, Kitchener, maybe Brampton, Mississauga 5 years ago, and you see how the property values has just shot up. This is where you're starting to build equity over time by just investing, that buy and hold strategy. Real estate is available and it's transferable. You can pass it on to your kids. You can pass it to your, siblings. You guys can really work with this again to just create financial freedom for the whole family, for your community. Okay. Max, you can do the first few and I'll hop on with the last few. I'm just gonna
assignment strategy.
Assignment strategies.
Yeah, so you touched a little bit on the assignment strategy and kind of knowing what your direction is before you invest, and the assignment strategy is a great option. So a little bit about that is when you purchase pre-construction condo, it's not usually going to be finished for about 2-3 years or so. So the goal is in this strategy to you don't necessarily have to get a mortgage, but you qualify for a mortgage. And you don't necessarily take full possession of the property in terms of moving to the property. Before you move into the property, coming up to the 2 years, if occupancy is in 2 years, you assign that contract. So basically, you're putting the property under contract. You're saying that you decide to buy the property, that you're going to do something with it, and you have an assignment clause in the contract with the builder and the developer that says that you're allowed to assign that contract. You're allowed to assign your interest in the property. So in that 2 years, if you bought it for about $900,000, maybe in 2 years you've gained 100,000, maybe 200,000. We've seen lots of great profits in pre-construction in equity, and you get the difference. So you would sell that contract to somebody else. They take on the liability of the contract, and then they can do whatever they want with the property. But you get the difference between your original purchase price that you got 2 years ago of 900,000 and the increase in equity of maybe $200,000. We'll use an example, and then you've assigned that, and you have lots of flexibility in that process as well. Because if you have 2 years before you move into the property or you rent the property, do whatever, you have flexibility to do different things. So you basically just put down your deposit, however the deposit structure is, and you have time to do different types of investments to, if you have to do a different strategy and something comes up that you can't move into the property, then you assign the property. If, you want to do something else, you have, more options because you're not tied to it in a short period of time. And then you also get to build up that equity. So if you were going to keep the property, that difference between when you bought it originally 2 years ago, it's, again, we'll use that $200,000 as an example. You've built $200,000 worth of equity just by sitting down on it and holding it for 2 years. So with your small deposit, relatively, especially now that prices are lower, maybe $90,000 or $100,000, or depending on what the purchase price is, you've built up that much equity over time, and that's a great option to have as well.
Yes. Also with flexibility too is kind of cool because some just with the question that came in about if you can buy it like as a first time home buyer, if you buy it for personal use. So sometimes you may think of buying, your plan is to buy, and it is a few years out, right? You're planning on moving in. But sometimes you have a change in your situation. Maybe you decided, you want to live in a different area. Maybe you changed your job or lost your job, or there could be a lot of different things that could come up because you have that time frame. And also speaking to the person who asked about some positives on pre-construction, this is really a really strong positive feature because it gives you so much time to pivot. And if you have some of those major changes, assignment strategy is an option that you have, right? And you're not going to lose. You're actually going to gain some cash that can assist you with whatever that transition is that you're going through. So that flexibility is really a strong point, I think. And then the time, again, is the time to work on your credit. Maybe you're buying now and you're not in the best position to get the best interest rate right now. Well, you have 2 years to work on improving your credit, or 2 years to save up some more money. And that kind of ties into the next point of like cash flow. So a lot of pre-construction homes have some awesome features to be able to maybe put a larger down payment. So again, you have more time to save up, to put more money down to get yourself into a positive cash flow situation. You're again buying at a value. Let's say you bought the property 3 years ago, it's coming to close. You could always, depending on the lender and stuff, sometimes you're able to like prepay your mortgage for a year. I've seen that done based on the amount of equity that you've gained in your property, and now you're just cash flowing every month as you're renting it out. Short-term rentals is really awesome too. You have a bright new shiny home. It's going to stand out. It's going to look really good on the market, and you're going to be able to demand top rent for that. And again, it's going to help you just be in a really awesome cash flowing situation. Again, that cash flow is just the amount of money that your income that you're getting every month beyond the carrying expenses. So the mortgaged amount and this sort of thing. Low cost of entry, particularly right now, as Max mentioned, we have seen some really awesome deposit structures, and builders being a little bit more lenient in some cases with what they're offering. Oftentimes, builders may also offer some incentives on the deposit structure to kind of boost sales or whatever, like at the start of a project. So that low cost of entry can be something that's really beneficial for people. A typical deposit structure could be $5,000 or $10,000 initially, and then maybe 5% in 6 months, 5% whenever. Like they just extend that purchase price out, or sorry, deposit structure out. And some of the projects we're going to share with you today definitely have some awesome incentives in terms of the deposit structure. It's very affordable. And yeah, you can do it as a team, you can do it with your partner. Maybe you've been saving for a little while, and like we talked about, this is the way for you to get in the game and like build up that pot of cash that you have. Property management. So at the beginning, I talked a little bit about mindset, and I think it kind of ties into property management. I think it's really important that we recognize what our strengths and what our weaknesses are, and maybe our interests and our passion. And I think some people just aren't really cut out to be landlords, perhaps, and that's okay. It's not a bad thing. I definitely prefer to use property management when possible, especially for like the short-term rentals and Airbnbs. Maybe you own a property that's outside of the city. The way that we structure the lease agreements, you're not going to be driving out, to fix light bulbs and do little things like that, right? Utilizing the strengths of a professional in property management, I think, can help to make the process a little bit more comfortable for you. Make sure you have more peace of mind. Make sure you have more success in the process. So, any fears again that you have definitely, I think, would be overcome, and gives you the peace of mind when you utilize those professional services, and it just helps you to be more successful overall. All right. Patrick, I'll just check in here. on some of, oh, just name the areas. I'm just going to check into the chat box here. Cool. I think that Patrick is having some technical
No,
difficulties. Oh, you're here?
I'm here. I
Thank
just can't
goodness.
see the screen.
Okay, thank
Thank you.
you. I'm like,
Alright.
all right. So I can back it up, sorry. And I think
Absolutely.
I can shrink this for you. Is that better? Is
Yeah,
that
that's
okay?
a lot better. Yeah.
All right, awesome.
So there's actually just before I get into this, there was a great question that popped on my screen, and I think Max tackled it in the chat, but it was how do you get, I think it was something about how do you get into real estate investments or pre-construction if you're living, paycheck to paycheck? And I think that's a very good question. And um, one way you can do this is by getting into something called a joint venture. So it could be a situation where you have the good credit, but you might not necessarily have the down payment, and somebody else has the down payment, but they don't have the credit, right? So you guys sort of team together. Obviously, you have to get in touch with a lawyer to draw up a contract, and that could be a way for you to get into pre-construction. You have to be very creative. With me, I got my real estate license, and it took me about a year to do, but then getting into sales helped me build extra capital to get into real estate investment. So there's so many other means to get into real estate. So just wanted to let you know, be encouraged. When there's a will, there's a way. So I'll now flow into important rules to follow in the purchase of pre-construction. I think a very important thing is to speak with a qualified mortgage professional, because a lot of times people think just because they've put down, they've given the builder the deposit they've requested, right, that's enough, right? There are a lot of things that you need to qualify for a mortgage. Sometimes there's the income, there's credit. A mortgage professional has to assess your debt ratios to make sure you can carry the home. So there are a lot of things that come into play when you're purchasing a home. So I would say always speak with a qualified mortgage professional. So make sure you have a strategy before you purchase a property. You want to know whether you're going to buy and sell to create cash. So when you buy and sell, you're buying the property and you're probably going to assign the property before closing, like Stephanie just talked about assignments, or you're going to close a property and maybe sell it after 1 year for taxation purposes, right? And so you're creating quick cash, right, which you can now use and then reinvest in another project. Another strategy is buying and holding to create wealth. This will be part of your long-term strategy, right? So are you going to reside in the property, or are you going to rent out the property and cash flow? When you go into investments, a lot of times projects with longer closing dates are preferable. So this gives you the opportunity to pivot in case you have a change in situation, you lose a job or certain things happen. It gives you the opportunity to pivot, but also allows the property, right, to appreciate in price, and you can gain in equity. Don't spend too much on upgrades. Just get the exact amount of upgrades you need. For example, if you're buying a detached home or a townhouse and there's no inside entrance from the garage, into the main house, maybe something like that would, you can get, but just spend the right amount. Don't overspend. Another thing you need to do is understand the types of properties that are in demand in your local real estate market, whether it be condo townhouses. If you're in St. Catharines, it might be, or Kitchener, it might be multi-residential, properties, or if you're downtown Toronto, it could be condos. So it's very important to understand the type of properties that are in demand in your local real estate market. Then also understand your rental market. Stephanie touched on that. And then also educate yourself on government trends. You want to follow the census. Canada brings in about 400,000 immigrants every year. You want to understand, where are these people going? Where are they moving to? Follow the transportation network. Is the 407 expanding? Is the 401 expanding? Is the 403 expanding? Follow immigration trends, and also you can follow the builders. Where the builders going? They were going west, now they're going east, right? So follow the builders. And then finally, get an assignment clause if possible. And Stephanie and Max expanded on it. So this way you can You can get out of a project if your situation needs, which is a positive, right? Or you can sell the property before closing, right? Cash in on your equity, take that money and go into another project. Next slide, please.
Okay.
So finally, a project we can talk about, right? So this project is called the District on Gardeners. It's in Kingston, Ontario. I'm very excited about this project. I really like this project because it's a 6-story mid-rise. It has 202 units. It has about 14 different layouts. The size of the units range from studio apartments to 2-bedroom apartments. The square footage ranges from about 500 square foot for a studio and a 1-bedroom to about just under 1,200 square foot. The maintenance fees are about 0.32 cents, 32 cents a square foot. And what I like about this project is there's no assignment fee. So if you go to the building, you say, hey, I want to assign, and you have an assignment clause, you're doing it at zero. A lot of times in projects, a builder will say, hey, there's a $10,000 assignment fee. Yes, you can assign, but you have to pay us $10,000 in an admin fee in order to assign. So this project gives you assignments for free. Next slide, please. So like I mentioned, this project's on Gardner's Road in Kingston. If you know Kingston, Ontario very well, Gardner runs north and south, and then you have Princess that runs east and west, and then you have Queen's University in the southeast corner, about 10 minutes away from this project. This project has a lot of amenities around it, but just to make it more real, Steph, can we go to the next slide? So just within, so the red dot is our project, and you have a Canadian Tire, you have a Costco, you have a Cineplex Odeon, you have a Loblaw, you have a Walmart Supercenter. Right about 400 meters away from the project, you have a bus stop, and the bus runs every 15 minutes to Queen's University. So if you're renting to students, you know that they have a means to get there and it means to get back, and runs every 15 minutes throughout the day. So it's an amazing location. The amenities are just amazing, and this is something that excites me about this project. And from an investor standpoint, you want a project that has amenities around it. Next slide, please. Now, another thing I like about Kingston, it has a 1.2% vacancy rate. So this is the second lowest in Canada. So properties and there are not a lot of vacancies in Kingston, right? These properties rent. So you want to be in a city with a low vacancy rate. It's a thriving economy. Kingston has a diverse economy ranging from manufacturing, public administration, healthcare, agriculture to mining. And this offers investors a wide range of opportunities and talent. And so what I did, next slide, please. What I did was I pulled up some companies in Kingston, like you have Coke, you have PepsiCo, you have DuPont, Tim Hortons distribution centers. Even in the public sector, you have Queen's University, you have the Ontario Ministry of Health, you have the Canadian Forces. So it's a thriving economy with a lot of industry. So with Kingston, you have access to more than 14.5 million people in the Toronto, Ottawa, and Montreal corridor, because you're only 3 hours from these major metropolises, and that's powerful. Now, 95% of the population, the student population, comes from outside Kingston, Ontario. These students, right, will need places to stay because the dorms will be packed, so they'll need places to stay, and this project's available. So increased migration. There were 30 more new permanent residents that settled in the Kingston area in the first 3 quarters of 2022. So we find that there's a push, there's a big immigration push into Kingston, and these people are going to need homes to rent and to stay. So this is a positive for the project. So the rental market is very strong. The rent for 2 bedrooms that turned over to new tenants increased by 21.6% in 2022, and that's a positive indicator. So Kingston was the 9th fastest growing mid-sized metropolis in Ontario between 2016 and 2021 at a rate of 7.1%, and has a population of about 172,000. Tourism continues. You're within a 30-minute drive from the United States. So it's just an amazing place to be.
Oh, did I skip?
No, I think you're good, yeah.
Okay.
Again, it has a diverse student pool, and Kingston has the ability to attract international students, right? Again, these students need places to stay. So project summary, this project goes into occupancy in late 2025. So occupancy doesn't close in 2025, but it goes into occupancy where you can take possession of the building. You can even rent it out, but it will close in 2026. So you'll actually need a mortgage in 2026. So between now and 2025, you can potentially assign the project asset gains and equity. If you have a realtor, you just keep track of the appreciation. Okay, it's worth 350 today. Maybe by this time next year, it'll be worth 420. So you just keep track of it, and you can assign it before occupancy if you want to. The property taxes are approximately 1% of the purchase price. It does have underground parking and locker. The maintenance fees are about 0.32 per square foot. This is amazing. I mean, about 4 or 5 years ago in Toronto, they were about 51 cents a square foot. So at 32 cents per square foot, that's amazing. And the parking would be about $30 a month, and the locker would be about $15 a month in maintenance fees. So in terms of the amenities this project has, it has a rooftop terrace, it has a fitness center, it has a clubhouse, it has a pickleball court, it has a pet spa, and it has a party room. So the builder incentive right now is at 15%. So essentially it's 10% within the first year. So 5,000 on signing, the balance of 5% in 30 days, 2.5 in 180 days, 2.5 in 360 days, and then 5% due in 2 years. Now with this builder, this builder is a little bit, they're flexible to a certain extent. So in terms of the 1 year, if you want to maybe do 5% on signing and maybe the balance of 10% in 1 year, we can talk to the builder, and if they have room, they've accommodated us in the past. It has capped development fees for the 1 bedrooms. This will impact your closing costs at $7,500 for 1 bedrooms. In Toronto, for a 1 bedroom, you're looking at about $11,000 or more. A 1 plus den is about $10,500, and the 2 bedrooms at $12,500. So what I like about this project is they offer 3-year property management. So like Stephanie mentioned, if you're somebody, it's free property management too. If you rent it out and you don't want to have to see the clients, you just want to cash flow, right? You don't want to deal with the tenants, property management might work for you. It does have a first-time home buyer program, but the builder incentive covers that because it's a 20% down structure, and the first-time buyer incentive is at 15% down. Now we all have that first-time home buyer incentive. It also has a lease back program where the vendor will lease certain specific units out at a certain price, and we can talk about that if you're interested. And right now there is a discount on parking. Parking was $35,000 and now is $30,000, and parking was $7,500 and now it's $5,000 for a limited time. So some standard features in this project are 9-foot ceilings, quartz counters, stainless steel appliances, laundry. You get laundry, a washer and dryer. You get engineered wide plank flooring, and you have a balcony as per the floor plan. So the pricing ranges from $341,900 for a studio. The one bedroom start at $348,900. The one plus den start at $407,900, and the two bedrooms start at $494,900. These are amazing prices, and they give you a lot of space to grow. So this is one layout that I like. It's a one bedroom. This specific layout is $423,900. It's a one plus den. But what I like about this layout is that the den is I think it's 12 by 9, 12 by 8, 12 by 9, which is pretty much the size of a big bedroom. I mean, there's some master bedrooms these days aren't even 12 by 9, they're 10 by 10, right? So what you could do with this is you could rent, and it comes with a sliding door. You could rent this unit out. If I bought this, I would rent it out as a 2-bedroom. And we know that across the street from this project, there are 2-bedrooms apartments. These are like 50-year-old buildings across the street, and 2 bedrooms are renting at $2,900. So imagine something new. You're renting a new unit, right? As a new unit as a 2-bedroom, right? Imagine what you could get and the type of cash flow you would get.
Someone said, "Wow, it is very impressive." It is impressive. All right.
And this is a one, if you wanted to go in with, if you were just a new investor, you could go in with a studio, but the studios are almost the same price as the 1-bedroom. So I would prefer to go in with a 1-bedroom. Again, they have a big master bedroom, so sort of private, you have your living space, and the units sort of flow. So if you were just trying to get in as opposed to going maybe for $341 for a studio, you could go for a 1-bedroom at $350,000, right? And this could work for you. And it's only $350,000, so it gives you a lot of room to grow.
Yeah. And Patrick, someone asked if there was any units with 2 bathrooms.
Yes, there are units with 2 bathrooms. That's correct.
All right. I'll shrink this.
Thank you.
I'll try to shrink this. Okay, there you go.
So
sorry, Patrick, your one plus den, I think that had a 2-bed bathroom, right?
That 1 plus den had a 1 bathroom, but there were some other ones as you go up that have 2 bathrooms.
This one has 2.
I believe this one has.
No, this one has.
Actually, sorry, this one has 2. Then yes, we're great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Someone scribbled on the screen. I don't know how to erase that.
That's okay. That's fine. So what I did was I did some quick cash flow calculations using today's interest rate. I went at 5.3. I didn't cheat on the interest rate, and for a 1-bedroom. So at 20% down, a 5.3 interest rate, right? In today's economy, you would cash flow at about $5.48 at a 5.3. Now, in another 2-3 years, all things being equal, we expect the interest rates to lower, right? So even we're not talking about 1 or 2%, but we're even talking about a 4% interest rate. So even if we go to a 4% or 4.5% interest rate, right, you will be cash flowing, you will be gaining in equity. So you probably be end up cash flowing at about maybe $150 a month, which is okay. But the key thing would be the equity, right? The equity that you gain. So this is just using a high interest rate scenario. If this was the good old days where we were at 2%, 1.9%, you'd be cash flowing at $400 or $500 a month. So even in this economy, you're not in the negative. And then this was a 1-bedroom plus den that I did. The total purchase price, because this unit was $410,000, the parking was $30,000, and the locker was $5,000. So the total price came to $445,000 using 20% down, a 5.3% interest rate, and the vendor gives you a lease back. So they guarantee that they will rent it for you at $2,350, kind of to protect themselves. But we know that the units across the street are selling at $2,900. So they'll rent it at $2,900, but this is just the $2,350 is just to protect themselves in case of an economic downturn. So you're in a negative cash flow at $104 and $104. But we know that we can rent them for at least $2,900, but I just use 2650 using today's interest rate. So you're in a cash flow situation of $195 with today's interest rate. So in another 2 years, if the interest rates are at 4%, you're at 4%, you're probably at about $300 a month plus the equity you've gained.
Great.
So it just shows you the potential of these units. So in real estate, you make 10% of your money because you're a genius, and 90% because you catch a great wave. And that's Jeff Green's quote, right? So you don't really have to be smart. We're all smart people, but it just tells you that you really don't have to be smart, and you just have to catch a great wave. So if you take position, you can catch that great wave. And when that bull market comes, you can rise above. Stephanie?
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you, Patrick. Someone had asked as well, I don't know if you guys caught answering that, but someone had asked about cash flow, like what is a good or a strong cash flowing property? And maybe we could all kind of put our little thoughts in here, but like to me, I think it's kind of personal in what your goals are, what you're looking for. So sometimes people are just happy that they're cash flowing enough to cover all their expenses and they're really focused on building the equity. And as Patrick said, refinance when interest rates are down, and that's going to shift your cash flow capability. Like maybe when we talked about your why, if that is what it is and equity is your main purpose, then that is fine. If you're looking to create enough cash flow to like pay down your mortgage or to kind of supplement your income or something like that, then maybe you're going to shift and look for other opportunities that are going to provide you with a little bit more. Like maybe you're trying to cover a mortgage payment or something like that. And Patrick, maybe you want to speak to that a little bit.
Yeah, and that's a very good question. And with some people just want to break even, right? And they want to gain in equity, right? So they know that the property is going to appreciate 5 to 10% every year, right? So they just want to break even so the expenses are covered, right? And then there's some investors I have that don't really care about cash flow. Yeah, okay, I might be in the negative, but my house is appreciating at 5-10% a year, right? And they're okay with that. Now, also depending on the type of property, if you had, say, a townhouse or a house and you split it into 2 units beyond the mortgage, there are many ways you can try and make this property cash flow. You could put in coin laundry. I know a client of mine, they have coin laundry, and then every Christmas he goes in and he pulls out about $1,000, right? I mean, that's something that pays for Christmas, right? You could put in things like cable TV, right? And maybe you're paying Rogers $50 a month, where you could charge each client like $40 each, right? And then you're making a profit of $30, things like that. So think creative things like that you could use. You could have you could charge, if you have extra space in the house for storage, you can charge tenants for storage. Hey, if you want maybe to park an extra car in the driveway, you could charge them for an extra spot. So there's so many different things you can do to a unit, right? To an investment property to build up cash flow beyond the mortgage.
Yeah, excellent.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, so I'll touch quick on some of the things that you guys said too. And it's kind of like reiterating the money mindset. So if you have a money mindset, you're going to do those things to put the coin laundry on or add the cable, or if you have a short-term rental, you may want to put a hot tub on there, and then your short-term rental will get more money than another short-term rental that doesn't have a hot tub or a sauna or something like that. And if you're not cash flow heavy, if you think about, say, making negative cash flow, so you're paying $200 every month. But then if you times 200 by 12, then you're 2,400 for the year, and then you times that by 5, and then you're 1,200 over 5 years. But if you made 200,000, 400,000, or however much you made for holding a property for 5 years, would you pay $12,000? That's the money mindset. So it all depends on what your plans are. Do you need the money right away? Do you not need the money right away? And your team that works with you to help you figure that out.
Yeah, awesome. So I hope we answered your question well there. Okay, cool. So guys, I'm going to talk to you about Calgary. I have been working in Calgary for the last few years, and it is absolutely booming. And I think at this point, most people have heard about that, have seen it to be true, know some folks who have left, Ontario and moved to Calgary or own in Calgary. There's a lot of exciting things happening, and I'm going to touch on some points and reasons why. Here's a few, and then on my next slide, I'm going to kind of like highlight some of my favorites. But there's no land transfer tax. And when we talked about some of these projects having a low cost of entry, Calgary is certainly that. Land transfer tax is certainly a large fee that most folks have to pay. Obviously, here in Ontario, to be able to close on a property, you do get some incentives as a first-time home buyer, but that could be $4,000, $8,000, whatever that you have to pay. Okay, in Calgary, there is no HST, so there's only a 5% GST tax that you will pay, and sometimes that's included in your purchase price, and sometimes not. The project I'm going to talk to you about today, the GST is already included in the price, so that's awesome. Alberta definitely favors the landlord and the investor. So, again, talking about like mindset in terms of being a landlord. Sometimes here in Ontario, we've been faced with that, long eviction periods and stuff like that. But in Alberta, definitely holds more accountability on the tenant to make sure that they're fulfilling their obligations as well as the landlord. And if someone is not paying their rent, then they will be, evicted. They will have to leave and find something else. So it definitely takes away some of the hesitation and frustration that some folks might face. There has definitely been a large migration to Calgary, as we talked about, and the more people that are migrating and immigrating into the area, they're going to need places to stay. And by buying real estate here, you're providing solutions for people. There's no rent control. So that's really great. Recently with the change in the interest rates, a lot of landlords' monthly costs shot up quite a lot. And for those who were, stuck or limited with how much they could increase, you don't have to worry about that in Calgary. If, things are increasing for you cost-wise, you have the ability to be able to adjust and get your needs met. So, sorry, this keeps popping up. So why Calgary? Again, just kind of highlighting some of my favorite stuff. No land transfer tax, which makes it a lot more affordable. There's no levies and fees when you're closing. The pre-construction, for those who are investors and have done it before, you can close a property there for like $2,000, which is absolutely incredible. Again, no HST or taxes to be paid when you're closing. The no rent control, and that Calgary is favorable to the investor. So I'm going to bring up some. I'm going to bring up some little headlines that are happening in Calgary, Alberta for you guys. There is so many reasons why I'm really excited about Calgary. And so this is just a few. I could have kept going, but I thought it was a lot. We'll stop. So in Q1 of 2023, so beginning of this year, Alberta hit their record population growth. So again, more people migrating and immigrating into the city. So the rental market continues to grow. Obviously has to do with the flow of population and the money in businesses. So Alberta is favorable as well towards businesses and provided a lot of incentives, and that's definitely helped with the expansion in Calgary. So at one time it was mostly just focused on like the oil industry, which I'm sure all you guys have heard. So ups and downs with that, but now there's like multiple different industries, whether it be the film industry, lithium reserves out of there, Amazon, Walmart, all these things. I heard the YMCA is one of the largest ones in the world. So there's just a lot of excitement and stuff going on. Okay. So that is helping to support this increase in rental demand. And in the southeast of Calgary, where the project I'm going to talk to you about today, the vacancy rate is only 1.8%. So very strong rental market. There is a lot of new tech jobs. So tech industry is really, really booming in Calgary, okay? And so it is still the Silicon Valley of Western Canada. Rental increases. So again, there's no limit. So and this one, I think is important to kind of point out, because people might think that landlords are going to take advantage. If you overprice your unit, your townhome, whatever it is that you're going to rent out, nobody is going to rent it from you, right? So you still have to keep strategically keep in line with the demands of the market. You're able to charge market rent, and you will get it. If you're trying to, exploit people and charge so much, it's not going to work. So just keep that in mind. I want to speak to that point. In Toronto, your rental guidelines, I think during COVID, was like frozen, so you couldn't change it. Some areas it's 2, in Toronto it's 2.5%. That you're allowed to increase. So Alberta's net immigration is at historic highs. So the population growth is up 3,225%. Okay, so yes, Calgary is absolutely booming. Calgary was voted Canada's #1 best city to move to. It's very affordable, lots of access to nature and amenities. Walmart invested $118 million into a fulfillment facility, and that is obviously contributing to jobs and the economy there. That's 1,000 new tech jobs that came to Calgary, with new businesses coming in. So there's just a lot. This is a slide, and we'll probably, again, welcome to have any mortgage brokers pop in towards the end and maybe even answer some questions or whatnot if necessary. This is a slide that we had used from a previous Calgary presentation. I just kind of thought it might be a little bit helpful, because some people wonder, how is it possible to buy in Calgary? So you are able to facilitate and getting the mortgage. It has to be with a broker who has access to the Calgary lenders and market. So you want to work with someone who has Canada-wide lending. Okay, so it is possible. Again, there's no land transfer tax at closing, which is thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars of savings. There are folks who work remotely now, and so they're allowed to have their primary residence to be outside of Ontario, and you can support that and do that. Your rental income can be included in your qualifications if you're using it as a rental property, so that is very, very helpful in the qualifying process. Also, extending out longer amortization periods. Talk to your mortgage broker, see what's possible, and that's going to help you to increase your monthly cash flow. So there are many ways to access deposits and to get mortgages to be able to buy. And what some folks have been doing is getting second mortgages, which allow them to clear out their high interest debts. So that's giving you more room in your utilization rates to be able to clear debt and purchase another property. Many folks maybe might consider refinancing a property that holds a lot of equity. So when we talk about expanding and growing your portfolio, this is absolutely a strategy that investors use. When you have a lot of equity, you're able to refinance, capture some of that funds, and then put it towards another property and keep building. Okay. And those costs that you refinance can go towards deposits, closing costs, and whatnot. There are products such as home equity line of credit. So if you have a large enough deposit, or you have a large enough HELOC, or whatever it may be, perhaps something might fit where you can put most of your mortgage on something like that. So again, helping with cash flow and whatnot. This 10% interest rate might be something a little closer to what you might pay on a private. So let's say you did a second mortgage and you were going to access $50K to put towards one of the properties, and you want to think about a carrying cost. What does that look like? Might be something like $420 per month. If you're going to grab a little bit more, for example, you might be paying $500 or $600 a month. Interest rates shift and might be a little bit higher, but that's just to give you some sort of idea on what refinancing looks, because sometimes folks don't really understand what that could be like. There are other costs of borrowing to consider, like perhaps the lender's fees that you have to account for. And so you want to make sure that if some of these refinancing strategies is something you utilize, that you're just considering those costs as well. And this point really speaks to the market today. So when interest rate cycles changes and drops, because right now we're definitely in an environment where rates are high, then as things lower down, down, you can refinance. And so then, even as Patrick gave that great example, you can get yourself into a better cash flowing situation. You can lower some of your monthly costs and still reap the benefits of the equity growth. Lower rates lead to increased buying demand, which pushes up home values. When people really are looking at some of the prices now, we've seen prices dip and kind of remain a little lower steady because of the interest rates. Interest rates stabilized and the market kind of stabilized and got a little, people kind of came out and started buying more because the demand for real estate is high. That's how you see the prices start trickling up again. If interest rates go low, we're going to see the prices shift high because we have more people in the market. So that's just something to kind of understand how the cycles work. So the project I am going to introduce to you guys is actually called Range View, and they are freehold townhomes, which I think is very exciting. So we have 4 units in hand in this particular project, and it is in the community. It's called Range View. So unique urban design features, it's going to be pathways. There is a lot of parks and ponds and natures, and that's definitely something I think is really beautiful and wonderful about being in Calgary, is just the access to nature and that active lifestyle. So you and your family are able to enjoy all of those amenities. I thought this was cute. The street names and parks will pay homage to different bird species, which I think is cool in that and around the area. But the vision is for the community, comes from 70 years experience in delivering timeless, progressive urban communities. So the builder has experience and backing them in developing a master plan community such as this. The price point is great, which I'm going to get to, and I'm going to show you the floor plans that we have. Definitely inclusive environment. The mountains are the backdrop, so you could have mountain views from where we are. The architecture is beautiful. And the townhomes at Rangeview include features such as custom gourmet kitchens, the master owner's retreat, so that's your primary master bedroom, has spa-inspired en-suites, and they're really nice. So within the homes, so beautifully appointed interiors, contemporary imported high gloss ceramic flooring, luxury wide plank floors. You have in-suite technology, like we mentioned about the spa look in the bathrooms. We have, I show you just some samples and color features. So again, just really beautiful stuff, very trendy, very modern looking. Quartz countertops, and you can choose your paint colors. So there is going to be a number of other homes that are going to be released over time. What is really important about pre-construction is getting in early. I hope some of you guys have heard of that. So as we are in earlier phases of a project, it's going to help you in terms of equity building, because as a project keeps going and just naturally over time, prices will continue to increase. Cost of things cost more. Builders have to increase their prices. So when we're able to buy in, especially at the beginning of a master planned community, meaning there's schools and parks and restaurants and all these things coming together, your value is going to keep increasing as the community itself infrastructure continues to grow. So this project is located in Southeast Calgary. Calgary is divided into 4 quadrants. Southeast Calgary, in this particular project, Rangeview is actually close to some a little bit more developed communities. So one of those is Seaton, which was developed around 2010, and then Mahogany is a lakefront community that was started in 2007. Mahogany is like kind of like a lake. It's built around a lake with $1 million properties there. One of the top restaurants is called the Chairman's. I think it's a steakhouse. So that's only 10 minutes away. And so again, when you can kind of see over time how these communities build and develop is just really exciting. So Calgary, obviously a very vibrant city known for its diverse neighborhoods, strong sense of community. When I have been to Calgary and in the southeast quadrant, being close to Mahogany area, it was really busy and people were walking around, just very active. It kind of reminded me of being somewhere in like a downtown Toronto. Just really cool to see the city so alive. And we are located 7 minutes to a brand new hospital facility. It is Rangeview has the YMCA, so that's actually in Seton, sorry, and that is the largest YMCA in the world, which is pretty cool. Lot of restaurants and dining. I mentioned Chairman's is close there, 10 minutes away from Mahogany, which is the exclusive lakefront community. Very, very busy. We're 32 minutes to the airport. I did it in Google to make sure I was very accurate with that time for you guys. And then this one is actually about an hour and a half away from Banff and Canmore, sorry, which are like tourist destinations. Very, very beautiful. Great if you owned and went there for the weekends and just enjoyed Calgary. It's an excellent spot to be. Okay. So we're looking at 2-story homes, and they'll be closing in the fourth quarter of 2024. So here's the floor plan. It's a 3-bedroom with 2.5 baths, and the square footage is approximately 1,500 square feet. There's interior units and then exterior units. Exterior units are like your end units, are the ones on the corner. So this is the plan. Again, they're 2-story homes. So on your main living room, kitchen, dining room, a bathroom and powder room is there. And then on your second floor, you have your 3 bedrooms. And again, your master ensuite will have spa-like features. You have a walk-in closet, glass frame shower, double sink if you'd like. And this is the prices. So I think it's another great point to bring up is that they are freehold, so no maintenance fees, and the costs are in the high 400s. So you have just some of these lots. So the interior units are a little cheaper. They're like a block of 4. So interior units are starting at $489,900 with the GST included. So no additional costs there, right? You're going to pay your $2,000 or so for your closing costs. 10% is the deposit structure. So you're going to put $10,000 down on signing. And the way pre-construction works is you're always going to put something down and then get your contract and sign. So that locks you in to a rescinding period. A 10-day rescinding period is most common. And during that time, you're going to review the contract with your lawyer. You're going to talk to your mortgage broker, make sure everything is solid. And once you're comfortable, you firm up your deal. Once your deal is firmed up, from the time you signed your contract, 30 days later, you're putting the balance of 5. And then 90 days later, you're putting your final 5%. So in total, you're going to need 10%. So I would say approximately $50,000 save to be able to purchase one of these freehold townhomes. That's it. Okay. The incentive that they're offering is a 2-year rental assurance program. Which gives a value of about $15,000. So what the builder is doing here is saying that if you were not able for some reason to rent your property out for at least $1,950, then the builder will pay that for you. Current rent in Rangeview and Seton and these areas for a 3-bedroom townhome is $2,300 per month. As I mentioned, vacancy rate in the southeast quadrant is 1.8%, so very low vacancy rate. You really shouldn't have any trouble finding a tenant, but again, they are providing that top up for you if somehow you're falling short any month. Okay, so I'll just kind of maybe go over that again. So it's the rental assurance program. So what the builder provides is an amount equal to the positive difference, if there's any, found by subtracting the rent you're getting from the estimated rent for each month of the term in the tenancy agreement. What you're responsible for as the landlord is any cost associated with the property, like taxes, insurance, mortgage payments, utilities, condo fees, and obviously your closing fees. And so if you're going with the interior unit, they're guaranteeing up to $1,950 per month. And if you have an end unit, then they are guaranteeing the $2,050. And Max, I will let you take it away with Poet in Perth.
Max, you're on mute.
Thank you. Port in Perth in Stratford. It's a great project. Townhomes that we have there. It's a really good city. I'm not sure if a lot of people know about Stratford. So if you do or are familiar with Stratford, please leave a message or a little note just to help me see who's familiar with Stratford. But quick, go ahead. So with Stratford, I'm going to touch on a couple of things about Stratford, and some of the things I'm touching on about Stratford is very important to know about in terms of when a city has infrastructure and what's being built. So all the projects that we've all talked about, Patrick, Stephanie, and myself, all have infrastructure and things being built around it. So you kind of know where everybody's going to and why we should invest as investors in those different locations. So some of the things like the smart technology, arts, and culture, which is huge in the Stratford area, which most people know about Stratford for, but there's so much more than that. The advanced manufacturing, the digital infrastructure, and education. So the Stratford Film Festival, it attracts over 1 million patrons every year to the Stratford. The festival generates over $140 million in economic activity and supports over 3,000 jobs. Daily bus services from Toronto as a result and there's no local accommodations. There's not a lot of places they're not going to build a lot of hotels. There's not going to build because Stratford is so small. It's not a condo city like Kitchener's turning into and Toronto is already. So with the investments that we're looking at, we're kind of gearing it towards the Stratford Film Festival and the other things around it, including the technology as well. And the Stratford Film Festival is getting more diverse. It used to be, all Hamlet and stuff like that, but now it's having a lot more different types of stuff that are happening there, and more diverse people in the industry from all aspects, not just performers, but behind the scenes as well, and technology. So one of the cool things about Stratford in terms of technology is it's wideband Wi-Fi fiber optics throughout the entire city. So once you're in there, you're fully connected all the way through. So the city has built that in terms of innovation. They want to be forward with all the technology coming in, all the different manufacturing and different type of things coming. So when a city invests into the infrastructure itself to have the entire place Wi-Fi broadband, as soon as you drive into the city, you can connect to their infrastructure. It also has a secure power grid. So if the power goes out in and around the area, they have their own power supply backup generator. They call it a self-healing power grid. So it automatically kicks in about 30 seconds of a power outage, which is virtually unheard of for a city overall, which is pretty cool. It also has several universities. So it has the University of Waterloo, and it also has a Conestoga College campus in the city as well. It has also 4 other major universities which are around it within an hour drive from there, and the Stratford Chef School, where a lot of people who have gone to that school have opened local businesses as well. Okay, so if you can see on this map here, I don't have my mouse to show you, but the downtown core in the center there it's pretty small. So it's about 5-6 minutes drive from our Port in Perth location where the flag is to the downtown center. So it's not very far at all to get to all the amenities and deal with the culture that's there. So there's 12 schools, including elementary, secondary, French immersion, and private schools in the area, in the city. 6-minute drive from the hospital. You have Via Rail from Toronto directly to Stratford, which is only about 3.5-hour drive, and you're 5 minutes away from downtown Stratford. And another thing about Stratford in terms of vacancy rate, which I didn't mention, it's only about a 1.9% vacancy rate, which is also pretty good in terms of vacancy rates, pretty low. So there's several models that we have that are at Port in Perth, but we have the Haven Rare Townhomes is what we're pushing, because you get lots of incentives for that unit. So it's a 3-bedroom unit. There's 2 styles to the unit. They're flipped. So one of them is 1538 square feet, and the other one is 1599 square feet for the 3-bedroom townhome. 673,900 and 698,900 respectively. Excuse me, move my thing here. And the deposit structure goes 5% with the agreement, the balance of the 5% in 30 days, and 2.5% in 90 days, and another 2.5% in 120 days. So it's only a 10% down payment as well in this one. And occupancy is in between June to November of 2024. And this one is 50% sold out. I have that later on in the slides, but I just want to mention that now. So it's moving pretty fast. When you estimate your taxes, we've estimated about 1% of the purchase price, so kind of have that ready to pay for taxes. Maintenance fees are low at $198 a month. The maintenance fees include lawn care, snow removal, garbage removal, and road maintenance. It doesn't include roof and windows, but we're buying brand new, so those aren't probably going to be problems that we're going to have or that we're going to be concerned about in the near future. So I have a couple sample short-term rental for Port and Perth. We're using these as examples because that's the market we're kind of geared towards because of the nature of Stratford. And this one is a 6-guest, 3-bedroom, 3-bed, 1.5 bath. It gets $319 a night, for that total there. Another one, entire home. It's a 4-guest, 2-bed, 2 bedrooms, 3 beds, 1 bath, and it gets about $250 a night. Another one, an entire bungalow. It gets 4 guests, 2 bedrooms, 2 beds, 1.5 bath, and it gets about $350 a night. And the units that we have are all going to be newer than the ones that we've shown. We'd help you with finding management and getting it staged and prepared for that as well, so you can get top dollar. So as an example here for a short-term rental, at a purchase price of $673 and $900, 20% deposit, you'd be putting about $134,000 down, a 5-year fixed mortgage. You'd be mortgaging about $539,000 with mortgage per month about $2,800. Maintenance fee is free for the first year, which is awesome. Property tax at about $562. Monthly cost about $3,387, and you get a mortgage booster, a mortgage top up. So each month you're going to get from the Port and Perth a mortgage top up. So for the 3-bedroom units, that's why we're pushing the ones that we were talking about, $1,500 a month monthly top up, which equals to about $18,000 for the first year. And we calculate the average rate for 3 bedrooms is calculated at $350 a night, with a vacancy of 1 week per year per month. And there is a 7-month high season where most of your rental will happen. And outside of the 7-month high season, you can still get rental income as well. So we didn't even include that in our calculations. And if you're looking at the average 3-bedroom rental peak, $2,400 in estimated monthly rental rates, $7,350. Yearly rental income, $51,450, and estimated positive cash flow. And we had a positive cash flow. What does positive cash flow, a good positive cash flow for a month or a year look like? Well, here's a $28,807 positive monthly cash flow, and that's without the other couple months that was off season. Go ahead. So our picks. So there's 2 styles of this unit here. If you can see on the first slide here, on the first floor is a bedroom when you walk in, the foyer, and it's like a stacked townhouse, and the garage in the back. utility room. You go up to the great upstairs, the great open space type of living. You have a balcony in the back. You have a washroom there, dining, kitchen in the front. And upstairs, you have 2 other bedrooms with a nice space. You have an ensuite in the primary bedroom, and you have another bathroom off to the side of the secondary bedroom. And it's nice that we have a bedroom on the main floor when you come in. I remember Patrick mentioned before, and if you have different generations of age, if you're going to keep the property, you don't have to go all the way upstairs, or you can have it as an office, and you have all this extra space as well, where you don't have to worry about that. What's the other one? Other unit? It's basically the same thing, just flipped and slightly more square footage, but you have the same general layout.
Sorry, I can move this for you. All right, there you go.
Awesome, no worries. So yeah, act now. So there's a couple of incentives. Want to go over them again. So you get the monthly rental top up on top of your monthly rent. So whatever you make, they'll also give you the monthly top up $1,500 for the first year. Average rent is about $2,500 to $2,800, and you're getting about $350 a night. The first year after closing, you'll be paid the $1,500 a month to offset. Only available on the Haven model homes. You cash flow about $900 a month, so that's more than the $200 that we noted before in the questions. 1 year free maintenance only for those homes. Appliance package 5, stainless steel appliances, AC included. Deposit structure reduced to 10% over 120 days as opposed to 20%. Development charges are capped at $5,000 for all homes. Assignment fee reduced to $5,000. Yes, there is a $5,000 assignment fee, but it's been reduced, plus lawyer fees. And then next. And like I said before, this is 50% sold out. Might be a little bit more since we last discussed this project.
All right, so we're going to just go through some final sort of take-home points that we want to share with you guys about pre-construction. I know we've shared a lot of information. I hope that you guys have found it really helpful. So one of the things we really hope that you kind of grasp and understand right now that, you know, with the way the market is moving, interest rates are up. So right now prices are down, and it is a really, really wonderful opportunity to jump in and get your get the skin in the game, get your foot in the door, get a piece of property. I know many buyers who really had a really tough time trying to enter the market over the last few years, but I would say definitely take advantage of the opportunity right now. Real estate appreciates over time despite those little market fluctuations that you'll get. So just remember that you're gaining equity, and that when the market cycles and interest rates go down, refinance, lower your monthly costs, take advantage of the cash flow opportunities, take advantage of the equity that has been gained. I say this all the time. I believe very, very strongly in it. I'm definitely one of those folks who loves to buy and hold. So I say buy real estate and wait. Again, get in and wait. Let the equity and the wealth build. Even if you purchase something, ideally you want to get into one of the townhomes, or ideally you want to get into the 1+ den or 2-bedroom units, but maybe that's not financially where you're at. That is okay. Get into the studio, get into the 1-bedroom, get in where you can, and let the market work for you. Utilize an assignment strategy, hold it for 2 years, sell it and flip it, refinance it, whatever you need to do, but get in, buy it, and let the time be on your side to help you to really to progress and win at real estate. And Max?
Yeah, so it's a unique opportunity to buy right now that we have. Interest rates might be a little bit high, but they have stabilized somewhat, and prices are low. So that's a great time to buy. We mentioned before about when you're investing, if it's a bear market, you get into the market, right? So you buy when it's low and you sell when it's high. And right now, the market is as low as it's been for a while. Yeah, so being in real estate for many years now, we have seen many folks, including ourselves, who have won in real estate, and it's just so many opportunities that one that we showed you today, and it's just a great thing to be in. I want to reiterate too, Steph, you mentioned it's a good time to buy. Also, if you don't have a certain amount of money that you think you can do it by yourself, invest in a group, right? So we have, joint venture options and partnership options as well. You don't have to do it by yourself. So yeah, we've definitely seen the benefits of investing in real estate for ourselves. Yes, and there's again, we have options to own. So we have different group structures that are available. They're all contracted group structures, and we have the full team with the lawyers and everything to help you. So I rather personally own 200 properties, with 20 people, because it's a lot easier to do that than to get 3 properties by myself. It's just scaling your options and diversifying a little bit, which makes it a bit easier to get ahead.
Okay, and Patrick.
And finally, this is just a quick example of a pre-construction project we bought in October 2019. A client of mine bought in October 2019. She bought it at $394,900. So essentially about two and a half years later, or less than 2.5 years later, she assigned it at $536,000. That's the power of pre-construction. But if she had waited to close it on closing, which was just essentially a few months later, that same unit was selling at about 5. This is a slightly bigger 100 square foot. This unit is slightly bigger, but this unit sold at 590. So this unit would have sold at 570,000. So even if you take away about $40,000 in expenses, if my client had waited to sell it after closing, she would have made $170,000, and after expenses maybe about $136,000. So that's just in about a 2.5 year period. So that's the power of real estate. So with real estate or pre-construction, today's price becomes tomorrow's low, or today's high becomes tomorrow's low. So real estate's a powerful tool to build wealth.
Absolutely. All right, so yeah, reserve. Quickly, pick one. To be able to do so, we'll definitely talk about the process, but usually it's going to be submitting a worksheet. Pre-construction is definitely competitive. These are all great opportunities we have, and you usually just send in like your photo ID, front and back, your employer, your job title, and like phone number, email address, and we're able to help you to reserve a lot. Okay. Again, in this particular project in Calgary area, we have the 4 units in hand. The incentive is offering the rental top up, and again, the deposit structure is 10%, so $50K to get in. Property management is available. Use it for your benefit, use it for your peace of mind, and also to maximize your portfolio. And we have lots available in Calgary, so if this wasn't particular one of interest for you, definitely reach out to us and let us know. Happy to share any more details on Calgary or answer any questions you have, and find the fit that's right for you. I do have a broadcast list, so you can feel free to add me there or send a text message to my phone number. And I just send out like weekly updates on pre-construction opportunities, or something changed in the market, or it's Mother's Day and I want to say Happy Mother's Day. But no, I try not to make sure it's too frequent, just once a week, to just keep you guys informed. Any questions, feel free to ask me. All of us are really, really, again, like I said, just passionate about what we do and supporting our community. So feel free to ask us questions, use us as a resource for you, a source of inspiration and guidance to achieving success in real estate. And Max.
Yeah, I'll just go through quickly. You got the monthly rental top up. What we're calculating it at is the 7-month high season, with 1 week vacancy per month. So we haven't even included the off season that you can make additional money. 1 year free maintenance fee for the Raven townhomes, which is the ones that we're pushing. Appliance package, 5 stainless steel appliances, AC included, deposit structure reduced to only 10% over 120 days. Development charges capped at $5,000 for all homes. Assignment fee reduced to $5,000. And I want to reiterate to you, just give one of us a call. It doesn't really matter which one, if you want to contact us, because we get incentives like this, and not every other agent gets the same incentives or has the same relationship with these builders that we do, where some of these things, other things that we can kind of change and work with, that they'll give us, some wiggle room and different things. So it's very important to work with people that have great relationships with these
And
builders.
good access. Yes.
Great access, yeah.
That's Max, and that's Max's number.
Yeah, there I am. Again, yeah, just call me or Steph or Patrick, and we'll be happy to help you guys out.
All right, Patrick.
And again, my number is 416-919-5582. If you feel free to reach me if you have any questions about Kingston or any of these projects, we'll be glad to help you. And yeah, thanks for joining. We appreciate it.
Thank you. All right, so I will leave this up for you guys, I guess, in case, like we said, you can contact any of us regarding any questions or any particular project. We're, again, just here to support you guys, so you can jot that information down. We really want to thank all of you so much for being here. We really hope that you found it valuable and informative, and we will hang out for a few more minutes just at the end of the call. If you guys do need to head out now, you absolutely can. And yeah, we hope to just stay in touch. We'll definitely let you guys know about any new projects we have, new opportunities. We definitely have been doing some meet and greets and fun things in person as well, so we hope to just stay in touch. So thank you guys so much again.
Yes, and a lot of great questions too. Really appreciate the questions.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's great. Thank you guys. Thank you. Great. And we had a few mortgage brokers. You see Can and Marlando there in the group. So thank you guys. They have been wonderful in just supporting and answering questions and stuff with regards to getting pre-approvals as well, which definitely is needed and part of the pre-construction process. Get pre-approved, understand where you are, understand where your finances are, so that you can step forward and you can create a plan to be successful.
Steph, you got a question for properties in the GTA?
Oh, yes, absolutely can. I will message you. You can just let me know, like, if there is an area of interest, as we have so much. Like I said, every day there's tons and tons of projects. Max and I were at the Keith condos in Arrow Mills, the launch yesterday. That's an amazing project. And just with all of these, like when we're talking about what we're seeing in Kingston, what we're seeing in Stratford, we're seeing in Calgary, is and that area is just seeing over time how the community has just grown, and you see the prices have just grown. And so we're trying to catch on to those trends and buy in new and up and coming areas. But yes, absolutely. I'll let you know some of the stuff that we have, because there's always lots going on. Thank you.
Yeah,
Okay, cool.
When you do contact us, if there's any other cities, Hamilton and whatever else, Patrick and I are both familiar in that area as well, that you can give us a call. Lots of different projects.
Yeah, absolutely. And one more thing is there was a push west a few years ago. So we're talking about Ingersoll, Woodstock, Tillsonburg, London, Kitchener, Waterloo, right? There's still projects over there, but now we've noticed that there's also a push east now going into Bath, Loyalist, Kingston, and those Belleville and those areas. So like I mentioned, follow the transportation network, and follow the immigration trends. And in terms of properties nearer to the GTA, absolutely. But with properties nearer to the GTA, you're also paying more, right?
Yeah.
But the good thing is that with property management, you could have a house in the property in the North Pole, and you're just cash flowing because you have a property manager that's dealing with the property. So it doesn't really matter anymore. They're newer these are new properties, and that you're not going to have breakdowns. They're under warranty, so you're good, right? But if you have any questions about properties closer to the GTA, yeah, definitely feel free to reach out. We have access to a lot more. These are just some of our favorite projects.
Hi, Andrea.
Hi, Steph and Max.
Good to see you.
And
Hello.
Hello. Patrick, sorry. I do have a few questions. Instead of putting them in the chat, I'll just ask them if you have
Sure.
a few minutes.
Yeah, for sure.
So I do own a home, and I'd like to use the equity from my home to put a